Saturday. Yes, bro. Thank you. Thank you all for joining for this Saturday Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I would like to thank Premadatta Prabhu and his Saumya Prabhu for giving me this opportunity. Actually, for the last few weeks, my reading has been very bad. My Bhagavatam reading, I would say, it was, even if it is not regular, at least it was not with full attention. So this service of rendering Srimad Bhagavatam at least made me sit and read a few chapters of this third canto. So thank you for this opportunity to be in the service of Srimad Bhagavatam and devotees. So let's start with our prayers and then we will go to the class. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमः। विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भगवते श्रीमती जय पिताक स्वामी नामिने नमो आचार्य पदाय नताय कृपपदायिने गौर कथा धामदाय नगर धर्मतारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Okay, Hare Krishna. So as Prabhu was saying, today we will be discussing chapter 33 of the third canto. So it happens to be the last chapter of this third canto. So I was so happy to see actually this Srimad Bhagavatam class has been so regular and we have covered, I think we started with the second canto and we have covered I think we started with the first canto, a quick review of the first canto and the second and third canto. So actually how discussing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly is very glorious because uh, how much ever time we spend with Srimad Bhagavatam and able to discuss and hear Srimad Bhagavatam, discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, and also meditate on the glories of devotees and the teachings of the Lord in Bhagavatam. This time we spend for giving for Bhagavatam is time well spent. It is actually very usefully we are spending the time because they say after so many births we are taking this human birth. It says like durlabha manava janma, that is it is very rare to get a human birth, and sometimes they say sudurlabha, rarest of the rare. Durlabha is rare, but sudurlabha means rarest of the rare. So to take a human birth is so rare, and when we are taking a human birth, how to spend that time usefully in devotional service is very important. um, so I was reminded of just a small story actually in one of the classes I heard. So he was saying like there was a very poor beggar, very poor beggar. He didn't have even a vessel or a patra to go for his bhiksha, his begging. So one day as he was walking, he saw a potter making many pots, a variety and shapes of pots. So he went to the potter and he humbly asked him, "Can you donate one pot to me? I can use it for my begging." So the potter just chased him out. He said, No, I don't have anything to donate. You go. And then every day that beggar has to pass through this potter's place. So So this beggar, every day he would, make it a point. He will go to the potter and ask him, "Can you please give a pot or a vessel, because it will be helpful for me like that." And every day, this potter heart never melted, and he just chased this beggar away. He just said, "No, no, no." And after so many days, so many weeks, and so many months, this potter actually uh, thought, okay, this fellow is constantly coming every day. He's pestering me. Let me just give him some pot and send him off so that he doesn't come to me again like that. And then he gives him a pot. So after so many months and difficulty of, of showing up, this beggar, he got a pot. He was so happy and so elated. He started like really. Jumping with joy, and he was very, very happy. He thanked the beggar, he thanked the potter, and he just went here and there, and he was so happy with the pot in hand. He started jumping up and down, and in his ecstasy, he threw the pot up, and within seconds, he could not catch the pot, and the pot actually broke and fell down. So, the Prabhu in the class, he was saying this is actually something related to how we are getting a human birth. So we are standing in queue to get a human birth after so many lakh of species, 84 lakh of species crossing one by one, one by one, one by one. Slowly we are moving forward, and then we struggle to get a human birth. And when after so many janmas, when we get a human birth, we do not understand the value of that. We do not understand how to utilize the time in that human birth. We do not chant the holy name. We do not take up to devotional service. We do not practice Krishna consciousness. We completely waste our time getting absorbed in all these material distractions and affinities. And finally, we waste that human birth. But Bhagavatam says it is so important that we actually, time is kala. Time never stops for anybody. Time keeps going, it never waits. Therefore, how important it is to connect with Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Every day. That is why in Bhagavatam also it says, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So every day it is important to connect with Bhagavatam. Actually here, if you see in that particular shloka, the translation, it says, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. So two ways of serving the Bhagavatam: one by understanding, reading, and giving time for Bhagavatam, that is the book Bhagavatam, and the other is actually serving devotees, serving the Bhagavatas who are actually engulfed in reading the Bhagavatam, and who are actually living examples of Bhagavatam. So these two things, when we do these two things, what happens? What happens? Actually, our all the anarthas in our heart gets cleared up. And the second part of the shloka actually says something very, very important. It says that who is, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who's praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So he says, like, the devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, that is bhakti, is actually established in the heart of the person who actually reads Bhagavatam every day as an irrevocable fact. That is, it is established so strongly that bhakti becomes the faith in the Lord, and the faith in devotional service becomes so strong. And it is established in the heart very strongly, and the faith is very, very rooted. So that happens when we regularly read Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam triggers the transformation in the heart of a devotee. There are so many triggers for us in our life. But what actually stimulates our bhakti, what actually makes our heart, because Bhakti is something not which we can accept through our, we may develop so much of spiritual knowledge, we may by heart so memorize so many shlokas, verses, and all those things we can do. But bhakti is something which has to be realized from our heart. It has to actually sprout in our heart. We have to feel something churning in our heart for the Lord. It has to be a realization which we feel, which so that from our heart we are able to feel for the Lord, and we are able to actually cry for the Lord. So that happens only through mingling with devotees, pure devotees, and who are called as Bhagavatas. And by actually reading about devotees, reading about pure devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is something which triggers the transformation in your heart, which sprouts the seed of bhakti in your heart. So many congratulations to all of you to actually attend this class regularly, and keep it going every week, week after week. So coming to our chapter today, so activities of Lord Kapila, that is the 33rd chapter. I think we have been seeing teachings of Lord Kapila for the last few weeks. And we have seen Lord Kapila Dev has told us about how important devotional service is. And who is Lord Kapila Dev preaching to? He is preaching to Mother Devahuti. So it's a very unique combination of how a mother is actually being preached by her son. And her son is none other than the Supreme Lord Himself, who has come and who has been born in her womb. So, so if you see some, just a little recap or a revision of the previous chapters, if we see 30th, 31st chapters, like we can see how I mean the life of a conditioned soul, a soul which is actually engrossed in material activities is was explained, and how death happens, how near death experiences for a conditioned soul, and how difficult, what are the difficulties that the hellish sufferings, I mean the difficulties during death, and after death, what are the hellish sufferings a soul undergoes. So everything actually is explained in few of those chapters. And then, of course, in the 31st chapter, when the soul again gets a human form into a womb, it comes very, very nicely. The development of the embryo has been given in the 31st chapter. So all the modern doctors and other people who are claiming. So I remember way back, like we used to get every week what is the development of the baby in the womb. Email used to come like that. But many thousands of years back, our Srimad Bhagavatam has given all these descriptions about how uh, in the womb, the embryo gets developed, and how the baby actually gets developed, and how he gets the consciousness in the seventh month, and how he actually prays to the Lord, the prayers to the Lord before he comes out. And once he comes out, how Maya engulfs him, and he gets into ignorance, and he gets attached to this material activities and other things. So 31st chapter was that. And then I think 32 32nd chapter was entanglement in fruitive activities. So if we see there also, I think the description of the different bhaktas and the different type of devotees are given. But actually, Kapila very, very importantly, he stresses the importance of bhakti yoga and how to practice devotional service. And he says by practicing all the other yogas, the culmination should be bhakti yoga. So, I mean, he talks about the glories of devotional service. So, just as I was chanting today morning, I just got uh, a quote from in some other group. I thought it was so related. It is from the third canto, 32nd chapter, verses 34 to 36. So here, very nicely, Prabhupada writes in the purport that the Bhakti Yoga process contains two symptoms, namely attachment for the Supreme Lord and detachment from all material affinities. So both are extremely opposites. So we always have duality in this world. So even in our spiritual practice, we have to take these two dualities very, very seriously. We have to become more and more attached to the Supreme Lord, to the activities of the Supreme Lord, to our devotional service and other things. And we have to slowly detach ourselves from all our material attractions and affinities. These are two symptoms of advancement in the process of devotional service. Just as there are two processes taking place while eating. A hungry man feels strength and satisfaction from eating, and at the same time, he becomes gradually detached from eating anymore. That is, his hunger is satisfied also at the same time. So he can't eat anymore also. So uh, as you are eating, you get strength, and at the same time, he has to stop eating. Also, he can't eat. So similarly, when the execution of with the execution of devotional service, real knowledge develops, and one becomes detached from all material activities. In no other activity but devotional service is there such detachment from matter and attachment for the supreme. So, except in devotional service. So, only when you do devotional service that you will get attracted to the Supreme Lord. You will get more and more closer to the Supreme Lord. You will want to do anything and everything to please the Supreme Lord, to please the Guru Parampara, and eventually please the Supreme Lord. And by doing all these activities, the spiritual activities, slowly Maya will withdraw from us, and we will get detached from all the material activity. So that is the glory of devotional service, and that is the glory of the bhakti process and the bhakti yoga. So very nicely in the 32nd chapter, Lord Kapila Dev concludes by saying that this particular knowledge about devotional service and bhakti yoga should not be given to people who are envious, who are not faithful, and other things, but instead it should be received from the spiritual master, and it should be given to devotees who are very, very faithful and who really want to actually progress in the spiritual path. So that is the thing. And in the last shloka of the 32nd chapter, always the falashruti of any particular chapter is very nice to hear, because that is something which gives us a lot of confidence. Okay, we should practice this, we should do this. It gives us so much inspiration to practice a particular activity. So here in the 32nd chapter, it says, anyone who once meditates upon Supreme Lord with complete faith and affection, hear and chants the glories of the Lord, surely goes back home to God and Godhead. So Lord Kapila says that anyone who is sincere in his in his effort to in devotional service, and who hears and chants the glories of the holy name and Lord, Supreme Lord, always will definitely go back to Godhead. So what a guarantee, or what a assurance Lord is giving us. So just by following the Lord's words, and just by taking his instructions, we can actually transcend this material world and go back to Godhead. So with that, we start the 33rd chapter. So as we know, the last chapter, it's a very easy chapter, but few things are quite were very, very strong and very convict. I mean, it gives a lot of conviction to us in this chapter. When I went through the chapter, actually, so it's you can actually segregate this chapter into 5 sections. So the first 1 to 8 verses are Devahuti's prayers, Mother Devahuti's prayers to Lord Kapila Dev. And then 9 and 12, Lord Kapiladev's final instructions to Devahuti. And then from 13 to 32, how Devahuti actually attains perfection. And 33 to 35, activities of Lord Kapiladev. So how he actually leaves after instructing Devahuti, how he leaves home and where he goes. And then 36 to 37, 36 and 37 are the last two shlokas of Falashruti. So, so basically, here Devahuti, after hearing from Lord Kapiladev, she starts to just a second, yeah. So she starts to offer her prayers. So how wonderful is Srimad Bhagavatam, because we are able to actually read so many prayers of so many pure devotees. Because for us as devotees, we are still in the neophyte stage, or we are still trying to get attracted and attached to the Supreme Lord. In that stage, we don't know how to offer prayers to the Lord. We don't know how to communicate to the Lord. Sometimes when we go and stand before deities also, we are so blank. We are so clogged with so many material things in our head. We are like we just go and stand with a very very superficial uh, mood. Like we don't know how to internally get more internal and pray to the Lord or connect with the Lord from our heart. But by reading Srimad Bhagavatam and the prayers of so many pure devotees, we know, like Kunti Maharani's prayers, as we know, is very, very famous and very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Bhishma Dev prayers, Narada Muni's prayers. So the first canto itself has got many prayers. Parikshit Maharaj prayers. And then further down in the Bhagavatam, we have Gajendra's prayers, Lord Shiva's prayers. In fourth canto, we will see. So, like that, there are so many wonderful pure devotees' prayers. So, when we actually read these prayers and when we actually discuss about these prayers, we can understand how to actually approach the Lord, how to actually connect with the Lord. Even a few prayers, if we could actually render to the Lord, actually, if we can, say the Lord, tell to the Lord, can speak to the Lord about those prayers and feel in from our heart the exact meaning of those prayers, then that actually is really wonderful. So here, similarly, Devahuti, she opens her heart. She pays her obeisances to Lord Kapiladev, even though he is her son. She pays obeisances, and begins to offer her prayers. So in her prayers, she said she glorifies Lord Kapiladev in the first few verses. So she says, "You are so great and you are such an exalted personality." So she asks in the second, third, and fourth verses, her doubt was, how did you actually, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how did you actually appear in my womb? I am just a simple woman, and how did you choose to appear in my home? So that was her biggest surprise or her biggest wonder. It was something which was actually she could not comprehend. She was really having that surprise within her. But then she says that, in the second verse, she says that you have given birth to Lord Brahma. So Lord, as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, from his navel the lotus stem grows, and above the lotus stem Lord Brahma comes out. So so she says that you are such a wonderful personality. You have created Lord Brahma, and he is actually the supreme creator of this whole universe. So you have the capacity to even create Lord Brahma, and from your own body you have created Brahma. Then how did you actually appear in my womb? So what was it that you made you appear in my womb? So that was her question. But then she herself understood that Lord actually comes as a child in her womb, and he is no ordinary child. He is something who is very 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 different. So she says that you are that Vatapatra Shai. The Vatapatra Shai is the form of the Lord who actually, when the devastation happens, when the material devastation, the big universal pralaya comes, the universal devastation happens, the Lord actually turns into a small baby. So I like this very beautiful picture of the baby, small baby of the Lord. So the Lord actually transforms into a small baby, and he floats in a big banyan, in a banyan leaf, on a banyan leaf in the universal pralaya waters. So he floats and come. She realizes, she remembers that, and then she says that you are not any ordinary child. You are the one who actually came like a small baby, and floated in the Vatapatra Shai. So you are such a great personality. So it is no wonder that you can actually also be born in my womb. You can come into my womb. You can rest in my womb, and you can be born from me. So she herself actually understood that Lord was not an ordinary child, and it is Lord's Leela that actually he came here, and it is one of his incarnations to give the teachings of the Lord, the instructions of the Lord through her to the world. So she understood that. So, and she also says, like, Lord Brahma could not actually could meditate on you, but he could not actually see you in the beginning. So he kept meditating on you. So, but with all those things, how did you choose to appear in my womb? Like, I'm not anybody who's very great. I'm not like I'm a woman also. So I'm like, how did you choose to appear in my womb? So here. Also she gives the purpose of the appearance of the Lord, how actually Lord actually is capable of annihilating all the sins of the devotees. And he taught the path of jnana and bhakti to the devotees. So very very nicely, Devahuti actually, she actually praises the Lord for the purpose of his appearance. And then these two verses, 6 and 7, are actually very, very important verses, where she glorifies the holy name of the Lord. And she says, even a Chandala who chants who chants the name, hears the name, remembers the Lord, or offers obeisances, immediately becomes qualified to perform sacrifices. So here the verses 6 and 7 have got elaborate purports. Actually, they've got long purports. So I was actually thinking of reading these purports. Then I thought it will be quite a long time to read these purports. But actually, I just noted down few important points. So these two verses are one of the main verses in this chapter, where the glories of the holy name, or what we can see, the spiritual potency of our chanting of this Hare Krishna mantra is being explained by Prabhupada in the purport. So Prabhupada gives various angles of glorifying the holy name. In various angles, he has told how to glorify the holy. I mean, how the holy name is glorified. He's like really giving so much of points. Like he says that those who engage in Lord's devotional service become freed from the reactions of all sinful activities. So such is the power of devotional service and chanting of the holy name, that as we are regularly chanting the holy name, and as we are sincerely chanting the holy name, all our sinful karmic reactions and activities are all getting freed up. We are all getting annihilated. They're all getting burnt up. So Prabhupada writes very, very strongly about how our sinful reactions can be freed. And also, those who are purified by the process of chanting are eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. So here also, many people condemn that ISKCON has many foreign devotees, and many are sannyasis, many are pujaris, many are doing all the other uh, Brahminical activities. But Prabhupada quotes this particular verse where Lord himself, Lord Kapiladev himself says, even a Chandala who chants the names, hears it, remembers the Lord, or offers obeisances, they become qualified to perform sacrifices. So here, anybody who chants the holy name without offense. So we have to chant the holy name without offense. That is a very important point. So he immediately becomes a Brahmana. So all the qualities of a Brahmana are are developed in a person who continuously chants the holy name with complete faith and involvement in the Lord. So that is a very potent thing about the holy name. How powerful is the holy name? So here Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy. Actually, Sanatan Goswami gives this analogy in Hari Bhakti Vilas. He says that any bell metal can be changed into gold by actually a chemical process. Similarly, a person can be changed into a Brahmana by an initiation process or Diksha Vidhana. So just by chanting the holy name and just by practicing devotional service, uh, we can actually get the qualities of a Brahmana, namely being more forbearing, more tolerant, more peaceful, more truthful, very clean. So many of the qualities of a Brahmana are acquired by chanting the holy name. So here in the sixth chapter, if devotees find time, you can read the purport of these verses. Very nicely Prabhupada has explained about the glories of the holy name. So here, just a second. Yeah. So the seventh chapter also further Prabhupada explains, like it says he never purified himself through austerity, scriptural studies, or by taking holy baths. Your holy name bestows all those benefits to that Chandala. So just by chanting the holy name, actually, we are getting the benefits of all these things by practicing so much of austerities, by going to pilgrimage sites, by taking holy baths, and all those things. So the whole just sincere chanting of holy name without offense is what we have to start practicing. So here, actually, one more point in the purport Prabhupada says in the seventh verse, actually, whenever a person who offenselessly chant the holy name, he is eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. So Prabhupada here explains that the chanting of a person chanting the holy name is not sudden. It doesn't happen just immediately or suddenly or without any connection. The connection comes from the previous activities in the previous janmas that person has done, that soul has done or he has undergone. So, all the austerities, all the Vedic sacrifices, all the trips to the pilgrimages, all the trips to the tirthas, the holy baths, everything that particular soul has done in the previous janma. So when he has accumulated so much of sukriti, when you come to this janma, so it looks like, it appears as though we just take suddenly the holy name. But actually, all those sukriti actually makes him eligible to actually hold the beads and chant the holy name and become much more pure and become much more closer to Krishna. So such that he can start performing all the Vedic sacrifices and he gets elevated to the stage of a Brahmana. So Prabhupada explains over here that just like how a judge, when you see a judge in the court of law, so it's not that the judge just suddenly comes and sits in that post and he gives some some instructions and some judgments. It's not like that. he has actually gradually progressed to that particular post. So he has studied law. He has actually been a lawyer. Then he has become a justice, and then he becomes a chief justice. Then he becomes a Supreme Court judge. Like that, he actually gradually progresses to that position. Similarly, a person. So it's a very it's something which we can think about, like, oh, so there are so many things just by the Sukriti and the mercy of the Lord, mercy of our Guru Parampara, that we have received this chance of chanting the holy name, the opportunity to be in association of devotees, to have an opportunity to serve in the temple, to have an opportunity to always hear from pure devotees, to do Vaishnava Seva to sannyasis who are visiting. So all these activities is just by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga and all the senior Vaishnavas. Uh, Whatever Sukriti we have accumulated, it actually showers as mercy for us over here. So all these lower stages of activities all have been passed, and then a person is able to chant the holy name with much sincerity and involvement. So again, Prabhupada mentions in the seventh verse, he says that the holy name should not be chanted just for any sense gratification or professional purpose. It has to be chanted with a very sincere and pure mentality. So just to please the Lord, just to satisfy the Lord, to be of any service to the Lord, to be always engaged in the service. So that is the mood we have to have when we are actually chanting the holy name. So that purifies us. So Prabhupada gives an example of Haridas Thakur, how he was able to chant almost 300,000 names a day and about 192 rounds per day. So it's almost, I guess, 20 to 22 hours per day Haridas Thakur chants. So much so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gave him the designation of as Namacharya. So he was the Acharya for the holy name. So that was Haridas Thakur's sincerity and purity in chanting the holy name. He could evade Maya just by his purity. He could just take away all the distractions of Maya. He could actually get away from all of them. And we know Haridas Thakur's background also. He was born from a very low family, and he was not allowed to many of the ritualistic ceremonies. But pure devotees and Lord, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knew Haridas Thakur's purity. He knew Haridas Thakur's sincerity. He knew what great devotee Haridas Thakur is. He knew the intention of Haridas Thakur's chanting. So that is what we need to try to learn from Haridas Thakur. How we can actually chant, in what mood we chant, and how we can actually pray to the Lord when we are chanting. So these two verses I felt very nice purports by Srila Prabhupada. So if you find time, we can actually go through these verses. So verses 9 to 12. So here Kapila Dev actually replies back to Mother Devahuti. So after offering her prayers, here Kapila Dev says that if you practice this devotional service, the instructions, what I have given, the teachings, what I have given, then you will definitely achieve Krishna Prema. And this just by following this easy path of bhakti. And you have to practice with faith, and you will actually become perfect in your practice. So then he took permission from his mother to actually depart from household activities and to perform more austerities, and to actually move forward more towards a secluded place. So he took permission from his mother. So if we see here, the 13th to the 32nd chapter, so Devahuti starts to perform her austerities and her devotional service. So Mother Devahuti is actually Kardama Muni's wife. So she has rendered service to Kardama Muni also very, very sincerely. So in few purports, Prabhupada says how a woman should be under the father at a young age, and how after marriage she should be submissive and surrendered to the husband, and then at old age she should be under the guidance of her son. So Prabhupada, I think in 2 3 purports in the same chapter, he has mentioned about a woman's position and how she should be always in a very surrendered and dedicated role under any of the male members, so in her life. So that is very, very important aspect for many women devotees, also for matajis, for us to practice how not to actually try to supersede our our father, husband, or son at any stage of our life. So also here, here it is explained like, even though Devahuti in the palace of Kardama, there were so much of opulence. And they are explaining, actually, most of the verses over here are just explaining the opulence of Kardama Muni's palace. And Devahuti was living in that palace. So, with all those opulences, also, in spite of all that, Devahuti always remembered her son. She was always feeling the separation of her son. And so when we read this outwardly, we will feel, oh, we are telling we should not have any attachment, any bodily affection. Why Devahuti had a bodily affection towards her son? Why is she still, feel separated from her son and all those things? But Devahuti's son was Lord Kapiladev. He was Lord himself. He was the supreme Lord himself. So she actually has this what to say, the capacity to actually, she actually has this capacity to remember Kapila Deva, remember the Lord as I mean, even though it was her son, but actually she always remembered him for his instructions, always remembered him for what he has taught her, like all his teachings. And she felt that she has to practice all the teachings, all the devotional service. She has to develop that bhakti. So she was remembering her son in that way. So that is a very positive way of remembering. So she was actually remembering the Lord, all the instructions and the teachings. And so even in our and follow, and she very, very rigidly, very nicely, very sincerely, she followed the instructions of what her son Lord Kapila Dev had given. So here also uh, we can see that actually there are two types of instructions, Vapu Seva and Vani Seva. So to our spiritual master, to Guru Parampara, and to how we can render service to them. So Vapu Seva is, as we know, that it is actually direct Seva to the spiritual master, or to the senior devotees, like that. And Vani Seva is following the instructions of the Guru or the spiritual master. So this Vani Seva is very, very glorious. Just by following the instructions of our spiritual master, we can actually please our spiritual master, and we can actually be empowered by our spiritual master, because just once he gets pleased, he will shower his mercy on us, and we will be more empowered for more service, more devotional activities, more preaching. So just by following the instructions and taking the instructions of our spiritual master to life and soul is very, very important, especially if you are committed, or if you get initiated, if you are committed to your spiritual master, then it's very important to take the instructions as your life and soul. And so we need to do some activities. As we know, His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Guru Maharaj is constantly telling that now, for I think for the last 2 years, he's constantly wanting to satisfy Srila Prabhupada. I mean, finish all his instructions of Srila Prabhupada, whatever he has given him, and he's requesting all the devotees, please help me, because I'm not able to do many things now because of my ill health and my old age. And I request all the devotees to come forward to help. So in whatever possible ways, and most importantly, preaching is our Srila Prabhupada's movement is a preaching movement. So we have to take up to preaching. We have to be compassionate to other living entities and see in whatever possible ways, even by distributing prasadam, even by distributing books, book distribution, even by distributing knowledge. We have to actually satisfy our spiritual master. The instructions are so important. So we can see in Srila Prabhupada's life itself how important actually Srila Prabhupada, when he actually went to US in the beginning, and in New York, it was very cold in the winter, and when he didn't have any devotee, I should say, like he didn't have anybody to begin with. So he was walking alone in the winter in the cold streets of New York. So he was saying, I'm walking alone apparently on the cold streets of New York, but I always felt the presence of my spiritual master. So he says, even though I am alone physically, but I am always carrying the instructions and the presence of my spiritual master in the heart. And that gives me super strength. That gives me the power and the strength and the determination to actually continue over here. So Srila Prabhupada, underwent a lot of difficulties in the initial stages. And just by the mercy of his spiritual master, it just came as a big shower, and so much of mercy of a spiritual master, that he was able to actually do so much of preaching and throughout the world. Also, also that we see how our Srila Prabhupada's disciples also, all the spiritual masters who are there in ISKCON now, how they are actually able to, so nicely, even after 55 years of Prabhupada's leaving the material body, like how they are able to take up to Prabhupada's instructions, and how they are able to continue the preaching movement of Srila Prabhupada and follow the instructions of Prabhupada very vigorously with so much of love and dedication of Srila Prabhupada. So these are all examples for us to follow, how we can be dedicated to our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara. So it's a very important lesson for us to take and do something to satisfy our spiritual master. That is very, very important. So yeah. So this is slowly Devahuti starts to practice the devotional service which Lord Kapila Dev has given her. And just by practicing the teachings of Lord Kapila Dev and practicing Bhakti Yoga with renunciation, knowledge, and pure mind, her mind fixed in Bhagavan, she became freed from material designations, and she attained bliss, and she attained perfection. Perfection in her spiritual path. So actually, Devoti actually did with lot of sincerity. She practiced this spiritual path. So then from 33 to 35, actually, Lord Kapila Dev, so he starts to travel more towards in the eastern direction, and he goes to Ganga Sagar. So Ganga Sagar is the place where the ocean, the beginning of Ganga, the culmination of where the Ganga actually merges in the ocean. So that is the place I think now it is in present West Bengal. So that is the place where actually it is called as Ganga Sagar. So Lord Kapila Dev chooses that place, and he sits over there, and he starts to perform austerities, and he meditates over there. And even now it is said like Lord Kapila Dev actually is existing or is still present over there. And there are many devotees who go and actually perform worship Lord Kapila Dev over there. So and that is the place of Ganga Sagar over there. So it's a very, very important place where Lord Kapiladev is sitting and giving his mercy and blessings over there. So here we come to the last two shlokas, which is the Falashruti. So here it says, those who are reading the descriptions of the dealings of Kapiladev and his mother Devahuti, this description is very, very confidential. It is very confidential, and anyone who hears or reads this narration becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord. He therefore enters into the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to engage in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So here, just by actually hearing the teachings of Lord Kapiladev, the instructions of Lord Kapiladev, and the glories of devotional service, what Lord Kapiladev is saying in the previous few chapters, just by hearing all these things, one can actually become a devotee of the Lord, and he actually enters into the abode of the Supreme Lord. So actually, with this, we actually conclude this particular canto, the teachings of Lord Kapila in this particular canto. I think it's called Status Quo, this canto. So that is the third canto. So we understood just a few more minutes. I would just take how to actually practically, we know that we have to sincerely do devotional service. We have to do we have to practice chanting the holy name every day, and all those things. But sometimes over a period of time, it becomes more ritualistic. Chanting is just completion of 16 rounds. Services are also just we have to complete the service like that. So it becomes more ritualistic. So how to actually practice our devotional service with our heart? So I was just hearing a lecture like how to become steady in our devotional service. So last week or the week previous to that, I think I was in Sarvapavana Prabhu's Bhagavatam class, in the Sunday class in temple. He was telling many points, which I mean, it just went beyond my head to remember so many points. It was nice to hear that time. But actually, one thing which actually he was telling, two symptoms for a devotee. Very, very important two symptoms for a practicing devotee. Symptoms in the sense, a devotee should always have these things, should follow these things, is steadiness in devotional service. That is the first point. To be always steady in our devotional service, or to be very consistent in our devotional service, that is a very important aspect of our spiritual life. So it cannot be I do one day service, and then the 10 days I don't turn up, and then the 11th day I again come if I feel like. So it's not like that. Steady devotional service. And the second symptom is preach and talk about Krishna. So always try to, whenever we meet in small groups also, whenever it's not like preaching means you should have a class, you should have some 10 people listening to you. It's not like that. So even when you are having small groups, or when you meet devotees, or when there is an opportunity to talk about Krishna, always try to use your speech for glorifying the Lord, for talking about the Lord, for remembering the Lord, for thinking about the Lord. So what are the things as sadhana you heard and read about the Lord? You can tell others. So when we meet in small groups, also we can utilize that time to actually talk about the Lord. So these are, he said, two symptoms of a devotee who's really having sincere practice. Also, if we see the basic principles of Krishna consciousness, like according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you see Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you see the essence of the Bhagavad Dharma is actually, the whole Bhagavad Dharma is based on three things. Three things. These three things we would have heard many times. It is Name Ruchi, Jivodaya, and Vaishnava Seva. So, what are these three things? Nama Ruchi is taste for chanting the holy name, and Jivodaya is being compassionate to all the living entities, and Vaishnava Seva is to serve Vaishnavas. So the whole of this Bhagavad Dharma, following the Bhagavad Dharma, the whole essence is in these three activities. So we always say taste for chanting. So that is not coming now. It's not so easily coming for us. So all the time is like chanting with multitasking, chanting with so many things. And major biggest distraction is our phone. So many activities we do while we are chanting. So and our mind is not so easily allowing us to chant or remember, even hear the holy name properly. So it's not easy applying your mind while chanting. That is not actually easy at all. So that is why they say we have to choose your thoughts, just not go with the mind. Whatever the mind is putting thoughts in your mind, you just don't go with the flow of the mind. But you have to choose your thoughts while chanting. You have to choose your thoughts in such a way that actually how I can render service to you, Krishna, how I can always be in your service. Please keep me always in your service. Never I should forget you. So these are the few prayers that we can actually thoughtfully keep in mind when we are actually chanting. So, how to develop this taste for chanting, this Name Ruchi, or even this compassion towards living entities? Sometimes we are so rigid hearted, even though we are devotees. Even among devotees, we are so hard hearted. It takes a lot of time for us to feel for the other person, put ourselves in other shoes. The compassion, the mercy, the karuna to come in our heart, it's not easy. And Vaishnava Seva, to serve Vaishnavas. I think I remember the set of shlokas in the first canto, second chapter. I think it is from 16 to 20, a set of 5 to 6 shlokas, where everything starts from Vaishnava Seva. It's a beautiful set of shlokas which are interconnected. And I think this Nashtaprayeshu, Bhadreshu also comes in one of the shlokas over there. It is the third shloka there, I think. So it says that the whole path of devotional service starts from Vaishnava Seva. So when you start serving Vaishnava and closely associate with Vaishnavas, closely see the activities of Vaishnavas and try to do any service for them, you start inculcating the qualities of those pure devotees, the Vaishnavas. And Narada Muni is a very good example. He says in his previous life how he had the opportunity to serve the sadhus in the Chaturmasya time, and how he actually got the mercy and blessings of those sadhus. And because of that, he got the wonderful knowledge, wonderful sprout of bhakti in his heart about Narayana, and he became a great devotee of the Lord. So this Vaishnava Seva is a very essential part of our devotional service. Always we should see how we can serve Vaishnavas. Keep on thinking, oh, I served once 2 years back, I served once 3 years back, doesn't help. Keep on looking for opportunities to serve Vaishnavas. Not that they should come from somewhere and only then we can serve. Even among our community, we can look for Vaishnavas, try to do any little service for them, anything, any help to them like that. And try to inquire from them, talk to them, engage in a conversation. What you are reading, Prabhu, when this situation comes, how you handle this, Prabhu, like. So getting inspiration from Vaishnavas, we can see a lot of qualities which we can imbibe from them. So these three aspects, how we can actually develop, or how we can actually practice. Again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised five more most important forms of devotional service. I'm sure most of us know all these things, but it's just a reiterating that we should constantly revolve around all these things. So it is Sadhu Sangha, Nama Sankirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, and Shraddhaya Sri Murti Seva. So we know that Sadhu Sangha. very, very important aspect of our community, like how we can take association of devotees, how we can when we are taking association of devotees, how we can engage by talking about the Lord, how we can engage by glorifying the Lord and his devotees, and what are the activities the Vaishnavas do. So that is very important when we take sadhu sangha. And everyday nama sankirtan, doing kirtan or chanting of the holy name, is very, very important. And Bhagavata Shravana, every day hearing from Bhagavatas, from the book Bhagavatam, very, very important, as we saw in the first part of our class today. And then Mathura Vas, staying in a dham. So at least periodically going for dham visits, uh, places where the Lord has done his pastimes, leelas. And also another aspect is, they say the place where you stay itself, you can transform them into a dham by actually whole time hearing about the Lord, singing kirtans for the Lord, doing seva for the Lord, doing deity arti, doing worship for the Lord, so many things. So your home you can transform into a dham. And also Shraddhaya Sri Murti Seva, with faith doing deity worship. So we may ask, why deity worship in the age of Kali? It is not prescribed in the age of Kali, but when we are able to serve, even if it is not deities, at least pictures at your home, every day, Aarti, morning and evening, it gets you connected with the Lord. It gets you close to the Lord. It disciplines you. Okay, at this time I should do Aarti for the Lord. There's something I'm showing my love for the Lord, and I have to prepare everything. So it engages all your senses, all your hand, legs, all your senses for doing something for the Lord. I should make some bhoga and offer to the Lord. So all this Sri Murti Seva, that is deity service, actually gets you closer to the Lord. So I mean, I can talk about our own experience of deities. Like before we had deities, like even when we were worshipping pictures, we didn't have so much of attachment towards the Lord. But once we had the deities at home, slowly, both for Prabhu and me, it's like so close, every day communicating to the lordships, like, okay, this happened, what is your plan future, I'm not sure. So when we are down, we just sit before Jagannath and talk, convey our heart to him. So it is so easily relatable when we are doing deity worship. So, and it draws you closer to Krishna, it draws you closer to Jagannath or Nitai Gauranga. So the deities are so reciprocative. They are so wonderfully standing there, tolerating all our offenses and the way we are serving them. But they are so merciful. They are waiting to serve us. They are waiting to communicate with us. So deity service is a very important aspect where you can actually feel for the Lord. You can start actually getting attached to the Lord. So these five aspects are very, very important for actually developing the other three principles of dharma, that is name, namaruchi, jivodaya, and Vaishnava seva. So actually, we say that all these activities should be done, like, actually there should be a fire in your heart to do devotional service every day. This comes only by associating with devotees, by actually reading and hearing every day about the Lord. Then automatically there will be a fire in our heart. Their blazing fire should be there. Okay, somehow or the other, I should race towards God. I should go towards God. My devotional service should be pleasing to the Lord. And wherever I am placed in this whole material world, I should always be rendering service to the Lord. So that attachment and affection to the Lord should come. So actually, I will just end with this. Without this fire, we cannot actually advance in our spiritual life. It's not like, okay, I do it whenever I want, I chant whenever I want. And you should be able to detect whenever your chanting is not proper, whenever your chanting is low, or you're not able to focus. You should immediately have one or two or three devotees whom you can call or meet, or talk to them, saying that openly discuss your heart. You have to talk to them and say, okay, I'm not able to chant well, would you be able to give me some tips? How do you manage it with, in spite of all your activities and other things? So you should be able to discuss to improve your sadhana, to improve your devotional service, to get that fire from the other devotee. To, it's like a candle, just get that fire from the other devotee who's having already having that fire in the heart. So that is very, very important. So which is just a small story. I will just conclude this class, where it's an Akbar and Birbal story, where actually we all know who Birbal is, and how he always actually puts Akbar in his place. So though Akbar is the king, like sometimes he acts whimsically, and he has some sudden stray of thoughts, like, okay, this has to happen, that has to happen. So once he in a very cold winter during Delhi, so he was saying like, I want to see who can stand in the waters of Yamuna for a long time in the cold winter. So whoever stands long, they will get prize money, like that. So that was announced, and everybody tried, and it was very freezing in the cold winter of Delhi, and people could not actually stand for some time also in the water. So they used to go, and then they used to come out, and they so but there was one man who tried, who he held his breath and lasted for the whole night until the sun rose. He actually stayed in the water till neck deep water, and he was so happy when he came out. He thought he had really won, and he just told Akbar, okay, I have stood the whole night and all that. Then there was some ministers who always play foul, and they said that, no, 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 I saw this man standing in the river of Yamuna. I saw at a long distance, I saw a lamp in a temple which was burning. So that from that lamp he has taken warmth, and that is how he was able to manage to stand the whole night and all that. So Akbar also believed that, oh, so you did all those things, so you will not get your prize money. So this man became, I mean, with so much of difficulty he had done this task, so he became very annoyed, and he just went to Birbal and he said, what is this? I'm deprived of my prize money, and I'm not being given, and all those things. So Birbal was thinking, oh, once again, I have to talk to Akbar. And then so he went to Akbar, and then he thought he found a opportune moment where he invited Akbar to his house for lunch. So King Akbar went to Birbal's house for lunch very happily. He kept his stomach empty from the mornings. He thought, because Birbal will give a good feast. So they were initially talking for some time, and then slowly it got delayed. And Akbar was getting impatient. You're going to serve me lunch, and this, that. He started, yeah, 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 in a few minutes. And Birbal was just pushing and delaying. So Akbar got very impatient. What is happening? Have you even cooked anything for me? Have you even got any lunch for me? Show me the place where you're cooking. So immediately Birbal said, yeah, yeah, cooking is happening. I will take you. And so he took Akbar to the place where there was a fire here in the bottom, a small flame which was glowing, and on top near the ceiling he had a pot. There's so much of gap between the fire and the pot. And he's saying, yeah, it's taking little time for that rice to get cooked, because the flame is low. No, it will come. So Akbar got really angry. Are you making a fool out of me? What is this? How, if you keep the pot so far away, how will it cook? How will it get the heat? How will it cook? So then Birbal then knew that this was the time to show Akbar. So he said, similarly, how will that man in the river, he get the warmth from a lamp which is so far away? So from this, what we can, so Akbar learned his lesson, right? So from this, what we can understand that if our flame of fire is very less, It's not going to attract the mercy of Lord. It's not going to actually heat up our devotional service. It's not going to get the attention of the Lord. So, our fire of devotional service in our heart should be blazing, blazing that every minute I should go closer to Krishna. Every minute I should be in service of Krishna. I want to do something for you, Krishna. Somehow you remember me. I have to always remember you at all points of my life. And I have to, wherever you are putting me, I have to be in your service. So that fire should be burning in your heart. And then Krishna will make arrangements for services to come and devotees to associate with you and all those things. So this fire, you should see to that it never dies down or it becomes low. That is your determination and your consistency, your steadiness in devotional service matters a lot to keep that fire blazing. So that is very, very important. So I'm just at 7:30. I'm so sorry I took 15 minutes more. So I'll conclude this class with this. If there is any other, not questions, if not questions, at least if there are any reflections or opinions or any corrections in what I said, please feel free to.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Pranam, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji, for the wonderful session, Mataji.
Yes,
Especially towards the end, you shared that blazing flame of a fire, which we should always keep. We should keep it on to reach God. That is, we hear the story actually many times, but the way you connected it to to keep our fire on to to reach the Godhead is very nice. Mataji, one question I have in my mind. Mataji, during many services, we feel stressed also. And we feel that there is so many things to balance. And then that time our chanting becomes not so good. And so many service thoughts will come in our mind and they will engage us completely. And sometimes we get just lost in that and then we'll try to come back again. So how to balance that, Mataji?
Yeah, it's all a stage of stages of chanting, Mataji. So right now we are in a very beginning stage, like more we are taking up more services, and whenever we sit to chant, it's better than our mind going in all material activities. At least our mind is thinking about the services to the Lord. Okay, I have to do this service, I have to do this service, and our mind starts planning when we take up the beats for chanting. uh, that is better than the mind going with all the material thoughts. That is definitely a better position. So we have moved from that position to this position where we are thinking about services. But whenever we sit to chant, 3 or 4 minutes before that, we have to prepare our mind. We have to get internally connected with the Lord, first with Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Radha and Krishna. So just 3 4 minutes, sit and pray that today I want to chant. I want to relish the holy name. I want to chant with attention, and I want to chant loud enough so that the mind doesn't talk to me anything. So these sort of affirmative, it's called mantra affirmations. So these sort of affirmative prayers, if we are able to do before our chanting, it will help. And as I said, it is a practice only, Mataji. It's like not going to happen overnight, but slowly we practice to become perfect. So whenever a mind deviates, then you say, if even if it is services, Lord has engaged you in this service and he will get the best out of you and he will know how to handle the service. So we no need to worry. My job now is to chant. So I will chant. So again, you bring your mind back to chanting. So talking to your mind, putting the mind back in its place, and again loudly chanting, all these things are certain tips I can give from what we practice and experience, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Basically, doership is the main problem. We take the doership, and that is how we get trapped,
Right,
Mataji.
right. So even in services, we tend to do, we become ahankara vimudatma. Like we feel, okay, I am the one who's doing, I have to do this service. It is natural. It happens for everyone. But most of the time, at least during chanting, we need to tell the mind that Lord will take care of all these things. That is, He knows what is best. And now I have to chant. So this is my chanting time, and I'm chanting. So whenever mind talks to you, chant louder, and bring the mind back. So that is one way.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful answer. I'll definitely try to practice this, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Krishna. Okay, Prabhu, I think if there are no questions, we can